Playing today's best music. Playing today's best music. Best music. Best music.
iPower 1 HTFM Boston. Online 24/7. And your home for the iPower Evening Show. Speak it loud. 360. Join the conversation now on the iPower Evening Show.
iPower Evening Show.
Good evening, everyone. DeMarco, Ricky, and Stefan in the building. This is Speak It Loud Talk Thursday on the IPES. Now, this is something we most definitely need to talk about if you're black, African American, because I really believe a civil war between minority communities and police nationwide. Hopefully, it will not, but unfortunately, this could be on the way. Like we're living back in the days of Jim Crow. This comes out of USA Today. This is ridiculous. U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions has given the green light to law enforcement nationwide to go and intentionally target African Americans today in the black communities. So what he's saying to racist and rogue cops who are on the force to purposely violate the civil rights of African Americans.
Wow.
You know, pull a Khalif Browder on poor blacks from broken down homes in poor black communities.
Meaning Jeff Sessions wants to fill up these privatized prisons with more black people as they can to make billions or trillions off of black people is what he's trying to say.
Right.
Knowing his racist history towards African Americans in the state of Alabama and now the U.S. AG.
Jeff Sessions wants to shrink the black population as another form of systematic genocide.
Exactly.
That's it. Meaning complying with law enforcement as African Americans will not save you if you get pulled over.
Right.
Now, you may be lucky, just lucky, to escape with your life if pulled over.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this could be a mistake on the part of Jeff Sessions. Let me tell you why. Because even though some rogue and racist cops may go home to their families after gunning down an African American in their vehicle after complying to law enforcement, but you as a cop was claiming you was in fear of your life. And some African Americans out there who have nothing to lose with military background experience will not hesitate to become, I hate to say this, cop killers in our communities.
And that's when the feds will come in, ordered by Trump, and we'll most definitely be living in a military state like we in Iraq, Afghanistan, or in Syria. We're going to have World War III with cops in our own backyard.
Right.
No one's going home to their families.
That's
not
right.
Cops, not black people,
Nobody's
nobody.
What is your
home.
take? By the way, the question is, if you're black, African American, have you been framed by a rogue or racist police officer, or has somebody who's not a police officer tried to frame you? It's Speak It Loud Talk 360. Let's go to the phone lines.
Express your mind.
Clarence, you're next on iPower 1 FM. Go ahead, Clarence.
Hey, what up, Ricky DeMarco? It's Stefan. What's going on?
Hey, Clarence, what's going on, brother?
What's up there, bruh?
Hey, brother, what's going on?
All right, for me, I've been stopped by law enforcement here in Boston.
Really?
They searched my car without a search warrant, looking for drugs or illegal weapons. They didn't have none of that in my vehicle.
Who was in the car with you when you were stopped?
It was just me and my two sons. We was about to go to the movies, right? Till three cops pulled me over, asking for my license and registration. Gave them all of that.
Right.
When the cops came back to my window, they asked me and my oldest son to get out the car. So, you know what? I don't got time for this BS. So I got out the car, because I ain't trying to get locked up or anything like that, because I had somewhere to go.
Right.
I asked him, do you have a warrant to search my vehicle? He told me to stand there and I'll find out. You know how these pigs are. They tell me to shut up. Look, I didn't go off on these officers, know how they are.
Yeah, right.
I said, officer, why did you stop me? Because I knew damn well I was speeding because it was during the evening rush hour. So therefore, the traffic was slow, so I'm like, God damn.
Right.
So what these mofos gonna frame me for now?
Well, if you ain't done nothing wrong knowing how the traffic is, where was this at, by the way?
Mass Ave.
Where on
Mass
Mass
Ave? Where?
Mass Ave down near Commonwealth Ave and Newberry Street.
Oh, down by Com Ave and Newberry Street.
Yeah,
All right.
down by that area.
Well, maybe he thought you was coming from Back Bay. Because we know Back Bay, where the majority of middle-class white people be living near Newberry Street, paying $50,000 a month for a one-bedroom apartment.
Right.
See, if you live in Boston, Boston ranks at #1 as the most expensive city to live.
Of course.
Probably Boston police thought you was coming from that area, seeing what you was driving. What you was driving, by the way?
2013 Cadillac SUV.
Should've known.
Rich white folks down at Back Bay ain't used to seeing black people driving SUVs.
No.
They thought you must have stolen.
Actually, that's what 50 stopped me for.
What?
They thought my SUV was brand new, questioning me on where I purchased the vehicle from. I gave them my registration and everything. And still, that wasn't enough for them. So when 50 couldn't find nothing else, they gave me a speeding ticket for going over the speed limit.
How the hell they gonna give you a speeding ticket when there was traffic on Mass Ave?
That's what I'm saying.
When these dirty-ass cops can't find nothing else on you, they'll give you an alternative, like a speeding ticket, which I appealed, by the way, and won.
Girl,
Thank
they
God.
want to test you to see if you're gonna be that angry black man to give these cops a reason to arrest you or shoot your ass.
Right.
That's
Police,
it.
especially white racist cops and road cops who could be some Negroes out there, want to test you to see if you're going to become this angry black man so they can have a reason to arrest you, pull out their gun because they in fear of their lives.
Yeah.
And that's why I kept calm. I kept my cool in front of my sons because I wanted to get the hell out of here. And this smart-ass Negro cop was like, oh, we going to get you next time. Stay out of trouble. And they went on their way like a bunch of...
This
my
is
language.
ridiculous.
That's how some of these
But
cops
brother,
are.
I'm glad you kept your cool and not give these cops what they want. Cause some of them out there will test your anger to give a reason to these racist or rogue cops talking about they were in fear of their lives.
See, they're looking for a lame-ass reason to frame you, lock you up, or even fatally gun you down. I'm telling you,
Right.
whether you're guilty or innocent, depending if you black, you are 10 times more likely to be racially profiled by a law enforcement officer. And that is a known fact.
Sammy, you're next on iPower 1 FM. Go ahead, Sammy. Sammy, are you there? Not
he's
there.
not
All
there.
right, next call. Lamont, you're next on iPower 1 FM. Go ahead, Lamont.
Yeah, this is Lamont.
Go ahead, Lamont.
See, I'm tired of you people hanging up on me when I'm trying to get my point across. You won't let me speak.
Lamont, when you talk,
See, that's the
Lamont,
problem.
let him
say
talk,
something.
bruh.
When you say something that we do not agree with, I'm going to say something.
Right.
Now, if we think that you are correct on actual facts, we ain't going to question you about it.
That's the problem with you
That's
people.
our problem?
You think you know everything on what to say, and you people don't give me a chance to speak.
Well, we're giving you a chance to speak now, Lamont.
That's right.
Give us your take on this discussion. Have you been framed by rogue or racist cops, or somebody who's not a cop try to frame you?
Well, to answer your question, Police Brother wasn't no damn angel, and he was guilty.
Guilty of what, Lamont?
Guilty of stealing that backpack.
No, he didn't.
He should have pleaded guilty.
For what?
If he would have pleaded guilty
For what?
for the crime that he committed,
What crime?
he wouldn't have the problem right now.
He was innocent.
And he would be alive today.
Well,
make
first
no
of all,
damn
Khalif
sense.
Browder ain't never had the backpack in the first place.
Right.
Second of all, the witness who claimed to saw Khalif Browder stole the backpack went back to Mexico and never testified to identify the alleged suspect.
Exactly.
Meaning the witness is nowhere to be found.
Right,
Based on lack of evidence.
Right.
Meaning Khalif Browder should have been freed immediately.
Right.
But
Exactly.
that's not the case and spent 3 years up in Rikers for no reason.
He needed
Did I
to-
make
He
myself...
needed to plead guilty.
Plead guilty to what? What is he pleading guilty to if he was framed,
Right.
prosecuted, and held in Rikers without his day in court?
He should have pleaded guilty.
For what?
And he would have been home by now.
No,
Nah,
I
bro,
don't
that
think
is the
so.
fault of the NYPD to rush to judgment, arresting Browder for the crime he never committed. That's also the fault of the criminal justice system that failed Khalif while at Rikers awaiting trial, as he continuously pleads not guilty, waiting for his day in court, but purposely never gave it to him. That's what led to his suicide and his mother, who died of a broken heart because of the system that failed Khalif, his mother, and his family. I mean, plead guilty for what?
I mean, if you plead guilty, that's on your criminal record for the rest of your life, meaning your access to employment, voting, receiving government assistance, applying for loans for higher education is permanently rejected as a scarlet letter A.
That's Yeah, right.
Meaning you trapped in the criminal justice system for life as a criminal or felon. And Khalif Browder wasn't having none of that, which cost him his life, unfortunately.
Right?
Rashawn, you're next on iPower 1 FM. Go ahead, Rashawn.
Hey, what up, DeMarco? What up, Ricky? What up,
Hey,
Stephon?
Rashawn, what's going on, bro?
What's up there, bro?
Sean, what's going on there, brother?
Now, I never had a gun pulled on me by a cop, but
but I had friends that were pulled over by cops, some who are racist, along with some rogue Negro cops who think harassing black men and women or try to frame us or shrink the black population. This is Jeff Sessions' goal, is to lock up as much innocent black men and women he can, fatally gun down black people, some with their hands up. Speaking of that, reports came back that Mike Brown never robbed a convenience store, with another video inside the store shows that Mike Brown never stole anything.
That's right.
And to put on top of that, Darren Wilson, the former racist white cop of Ferguson, confessed that Mike Brown never tried to grab his gun as he was struggling with the cop.
Of course.
So right then and there, that was another lie.
Right.
Darren Wilson has put on Mike Brown, who shot and killed his brother with his hands up, unfortunately.
Speaking of Ferguson, brother, where it's predominantly black, is known for false arrests, frame-ups, trumped-up charges, and racially profiling blacks.
Have you heard down in Louisiana that if you resist arrest? This story came from Sean King. He did a story about it in the New York Daily News. He spoke to Tom Joyner about this. If you resist arrest, you can spend up to 10 years behind bars. Does that make any kind of sense?
Well, that's their main mission.
Right.
Their main mission is how to get rid of the black population in the United States with false arrests, trumped-up charges, fatal police shootings of unarmed blacks. This has always been Jeff Sessions' goal.
Right.
And now that he's the U.S. Attorney General, he's giving police officers nationwide to falsely go after blacks with racial profiling.
Wow.
This is real, y'all.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. See, our lives as black people in America are in jeopardy by the hands of law enforcement.
Who we
Who we supposed to trust?
But at the same time, white supremacy has been infiltrating police departments nationwide for decades to terrorize us, lock us up, shoot us, lynch us. Anybody who was black was a total threat against the white establishment. That's who they're targeting. See, we as a people, black people, are that threat to Jeff Sessions, who is the biggest racist prick coming out of the red state of Alabama, and now this Attorney General of the United States, who is the biggest threat to society, abusing his power, terrorizing innocent poor people in this country, mostly our people, black people. And as for this dumbass Lamont, brother, do your research, because when you call up on this radio station, you are irrelevant and your opinions are useless.
Thank you.
Do your research on Khalif Browder. Peace, my brothers.
Thanks, Rashawn. We appreciate your phone call.
Incoming message.
Text your mind.
All right, text your mind here on SIL 360. Pauline from Queens, New York writes, the NYPD are still up to their old tricks, framing poor people of color, mostly black people. Why? We the jackpot. That's how they saw Khalif Browder.
Oh, you ain't never lied.
Of course, that's how they saw Khalif Browder when it comes to poor black people. And yes, what she meant by that was, we are the jackpot, and we are 10 times more likely to be stopped, frisked, and harassed by police, just like how they did Khalif Browder.
Yep.
Putting African Americans behind bars, whether guilty or innocent, is a $1 trillion business.
That's
Can
right.
you believe
Oh, you
that?
ain't never lied.
That's why Pauline from Queens, New York said, we, black people, we are the jackpot for the criminal justice system.
Incoming message.
Lawrence Ford, 55, from the ATL writes, there are some racist and rogue cops that frame black men and women every day. The justice system is a joke run by white supremacy. There's no such thing as justice for black people. It's just us.
Hello.
You got that right.
You're right, Lawrence Ford, 55, from the ATL.
Isn't this what Jeff Sessions wants as Attorney General?
Oh, you better believe it.
That's
Unfortunately,
exactly what he
that's the new
wants.
modern-day J. Edgar Hoover.
Incoming
Mr.
message.
Bostock, 857, from Dorchester, Massachusetts, writes, brother, Boston police ain't no different from the NYPD. Remember what they did to that black kid down at Roxbury Community College? Most of the time, dirty cops do their dirty work when the cameras are off.
Well, the cameras were on this one.
Oh, I know that's right.
Absolutely. Let me just say this. When you talk about Boston police here in the city of Boston, even though we have rogue and racist cops on the force here in Boston, the Boston law enforcement officers are more smarter than the NYPD or any cop outside of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Right.
What I mean by that is Boston police officers are not going to do similar to what the NYPD does.
Right.
But more likely, some African Americans in the black communities have a good chance of being framed by a rogue or a racist cop
That's
here
right.
in Boston.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not excusing that. I'm not going to let
way.
that off the hook.
Hell no.
Marco, despite of some of the racist and rogue cops we got on the force, every law enforcement in cities across the country do their own thing, like down south, for instance.
Right.
Some of the cops' main mission, whether you're a rogue or a racist cop, is to pull the black man out the vehicle with his hands up and just sucker punching him for no reason, or like we saw recently on video, where these two cops grabbed this black man out of his vehicle, and the second cop just stomped him right in the face.
I saw that.
The police style in Boston is way different from New York or down south when it comes to handling African Americans.
Exactly. KK from Detroit, Michigan writes, these rogue and racist police officers that falsely arrest some of our young black men and women are used as huge payouts to law enforcement, the courts, and privatized prison systems to bring in trillions of dollars with a capital T.
See what I mean?
Oh, you ain't never lied, bruh. It's $1 trillion business to lock up black men and women, whether guilty or innocent.
Right.
Danny Donovan from South Boston writes, if you don't want to do the time, then don't do the crime. It's always the blacks and the Hispanics claiming their innocence.
What a jackass.
Danny Donovan from South Boston. Some white people ain't guilty. You telling me no white people are never guilty of anything they do, whether it's a racial motivated attack on African Americans, Hispanics, or Jewish or LGBT? Oh, they are never wrong of what they do.
That something is wrong here. Hit that damn tape.
Makes no kind of sense.
It's always white people or these damn Republicans and Trump supporters who are never wrong in what they do. So you telling me 5 whites can jump a black man in the public eye and they'll say it wasn't them, knowing that they were on camera and everything.
Right.
That's mighty white of you, Danny Donovan from South Boston.
Kenny Ford 65 from Hartford, Connecticut writes, Hartford police is just as racist as any law enforcement across the country when they try to accuse me of driving with an expired license, knowing that my driver's license and registration are up to date. Hit that tape. I mean, see what I mean? See, this is what we are talking about.
Let me tell you something. Let me just say this. Not all law enforcement are like this. You got some good cops out there. Let's not throw the good cops under the bus who are going by the book.
Oh, no, I'm not doing that, bro.
What Kenny Ford 65 said is right. There are racist cops in Hartford.
Brother, there's racist cops everywhere across the country.
Right.
It ain't just in Hartford or Boston, Providence or down south. It's everywhere, brother.
It is.
It's everywhere.
You're absolutely right.
Proud Jamaican Tony from Dorchester, Massachusetts writes, I remember when Boston police stopped me 3 years ago and asked me if I was a drug trafficker. And I said, wait, they always think someone from Jamaica is a drug dealer trying to frame me, but I went to court and beat the ticket after they say I was speeding. Wicked and racist. And don't forget, Boston police has a history of framing black people as well.
Duh.
We haven't forget about the Charles Stewart case where they framed
You talking about Willie Bennett?
Right, William Bennett.
Yeah, Willie Bennett. Mother was so distraught she died of a broken heart because of that. And Willie Bennett still hasn't got a formal apology from Boston police.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Mr. Brown from Roxbury, Massachusetts. What's this Negro saying now? Yeah. It's funny how you Negroes always claim race when white cops pull you over. I never once hear none of y'all liberal Negroes talk about blacks robbing their own, shooting our own, stealing from our own, or raping our own.
Oh, really?
Sounds pretty hypocritical of what you're saying, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Clean up your own house first.
A Trump
It
Negro.
figures that a Negro like you, Mr. Brown, with your Trump-supporting black ass, would say that we never talk about black-on-black crime on this radio station. That's a damn lie.
We talk about what goes on in the black community every day, Mr. Brown.
Right.
What are you talking about?
See, once again, this is the problem with some of these Negroes. You want to hear what you want to hear. I bet you don't listen to the 4-hour show.
Right.
As DeMarco challenged you on. Now, there's some black people in our communities, part of Boston, Massachusetts, are taking up on that challenge to listen to the whole entire 4-hour show, and we get some positive feedback.
Right.
So I give some of our brothers and sisters shout-outs for taking that challenge. But for you, Negro, since you have the energy to run your mouth in the text on how you accuse us on not talking about what's going on in the black community, we need that same energy from you to listen to the whole entire 4-hour show. If not, shut your Trump-supporting ass up.
Thank you.
Jesus Christ.
And Brother Malik 69 from Harlem, New York writes, Brother Khalif Browder was a black warrior who beat the system, but unfortunately lost his life. I wish Brother Khalif would have went to the NOI. Our brothers would most definitely assist our brother, preventing him from suicide and fighting off these devils of white supremacy that broke our black warrior.
So what's the lesson of the story in all this?
The lesson of the story is, if you black, African American, or Hispanic, knowing that you did not committed no crimes nor violated no laws as a law-abiding citizen to this country as a taxpayer, you should never plead guilty to something you never did nor any crime you did not commit. You should never pay a ticket if you was obeying traffic laws. Police have no right to tell you to get out your vehicle if there's not a search warrant by the courts that orders you to get out of your vehicle. You do have rights as a law-abiding citizen to this nation, because believe it or not, we all want to get home to our friends, families, and loved ones instead of being toe-tagged at the morgue and ready to be buried at your funeral, whether you a cop on the force or just a poor person of color. And we all know both sides in their right minds does not want that.
Lesson learned. I totally agree with that.
Hey,
Thanks,
right
Rick.
is right.
Shout outs to iPower 2 on our YouTube channel. Keyword iPower One Nation. Thanks for listening to us. We'll do this again next time. iPower 98.9 is now New York City.
New York City.
Subscribe now to our YouTube channel. Keyword iPower One Nation. Listen to our shows weeknights now in the tri-state area. Take us anywhere. Listen online or on app. Listen on your Android phone, iPhone, or iPad. Listen now in the NYC. Go to iPower1FM.com for 98.9.